Alright, also look, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about and breaking down UFC 305 and basically talking about what we learned and what this means for the foreseeable future. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share so you can help me reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the summer. I'll deeply appreciate you. And make sure you join the official UFC Discord, link in the description. Alright, so look, this was an incredibly eventful card and definitely one for the history books, as well as one I will not be forgetting anytime soon. Now, let's delve right into UFC 305 main card recap. First up on the card, we have Carlos Prates absolutely flatlining Li Jingliang in the third round. And what can I say? Never bet on a fighter coming off of an injury. Throughout the fight, Carlos Prates was landing the more effective shots, and although Lee had his moments, it was clear that he was dealing with significant ring rust, and given that he was coming off of a 2-year layoff from a spinal injury back in 2022, it sometimes seemed that he was almost inviting the hits from Carlos Prates. But we've got to remember that this isn't the same Leech that we saw with the Iron Chin back in the octagon last time around, and trying to take shots from Carlos Prates was just an insane bad idea. Incredible win by Carlos Prates, and I'd honestly love to see him face off against another veteran before he gets thrown into the welterweight top 15. Next up on the card, we have Jairzinho Rozenstruik absolutely dominating Tai Tuivasa by decision, and though I called this one, I was expecting a bit more from Bam Bam this time around because Tai is typically a warrior in the octagon who is always willing to brawl it out until he gets the finish. However, what do you expect from a guy whose last win was in 2022? And while I initially had Jairzinho winning this by KO, I later realized that despite his knockouts, Rozenstruik is more of a technical kickboxer and not exactly a knockout artist. In hindsight though, there was really no way Tai was really gonna win this fight. Oh, and by the way, that ref needs to be locked up for that 30-27 scorecard he gave to Tai Tuivasa. Are you kidding me? I'm so glad they fired him on the spot mid-card because we cannot have people like him judging fights in the future. All in all, I think this might just be the downfall of Bam Bam Shui. He's on a 5-fight losing streak since 2022 and didn't perform the way he should have last Saturday night, which is honestly super depressing because he's such a fan favorite, man. I'm really gonna miss those Shuis. As for Rozenstruik, I think he needs a step up in competition so we can see him climb up the heavyweight rankings. Next up on the card, we have the undisputed fight of the night, Dan the Hangman Hooker beating Mateusz Gamrot by split decision. But to be completely honest, I thought Gamrot had a pretty sound game plan. He was mixing in the wrestling with the grappling along with the striking pretty cohesively, just as I expected. He took Dan the Hangman down a total of 5 times during this fight, but like I mentioned in the predictions video, Gamrot isn't really known for controlling his opponents, but it's the gas tank along with the relentless volume that makes him super elite. But Hooker, man, he applied the pressure, was relentless going forward, wasn't scared to rush Gamrot after ground scrambles, and his takedown defense was off the charts. You could tell that this camp was primarily focused on ground game defense because Dan's scrambles and work on the ground were absolutely flawless. And if one thing's true, tough times don't last, but Dan Hooker surely does. And as for what's next, a lot of people within the MMA community are calling for the matchup against Justin the Highlight, but I don't think you guys are seeing the bigger picture. Let's rebook that Dustin Poirier rematch ASAP. Imagine Dustin Poirier's last dance. Hooker rematch in front of a sold out crowd with live fans this time. Tell me that wouldn't be an absolute banger. Please, UFC, make that happen. Next up on the card, we have the co-main event of the evening. We have Kai Kara-France absolutely knocking out Steve Erceg in the first round. And well, I stand corrected. In my predictions video, I had Steve Erceg winning this by a convincing second to third round KO because I really thought in his short time span in the UFC, Erceg had seen it all. He flatlined Matt Schnell in March and then went the distance with Alexandre Pantoja and arguably won. But looking back, I now realize that Usyk hadn't really faced anyone with seriously nasty knockout power, and once he found that out against Kai Kara-France, it must have been a shock. Usyk was looking extremely well and was doing great on the feet. He was picking his shots correctly, but Kai just followed his game plan and swung a nasty overhand Steve's way, caught him good, and put him out. Super stellar win for Kai Kara-France, especially in enemy territory, and this was his comeback after 2 years as well. But what's next for Kai? Honestly, I'm not even sure. He called for a title shot against Alexandre Pantoja since they have history from the Ultimate Fighter, but I don't think that's what the UFC are planning right now. Currently, the flyweight division is kind of all over the place right now. They just cut their #1 contender, and there are rumors that Alexandre Pantoja might be defending his title against Kai Asakura. So right now, I think what's best for Kai Kara-France is that Amir Albazi rematch. I'm pretty sure everyone thought that that fight was super up in the air, and a lot of people had Kai winning, but they ended up giving the decision to Amir, so this would be a chance for Kai to right that wrong on his record. And now for the main event of the evening, and man, what a doozy. Dricus still knocks Du Plessis, defeats Israel Adesanya by 4th round submission, and man, do I feel like a full-blown idiot right now. I'm pretty sure it's about time I give this man his respect as well as his kudos, because he keeps proving me wrong over and over again, and I'm kinda over it. For the first few rounds, it seemed to be back and forth on the feet, with Izzy landing the better and more accurate shots, but once DDP mixed in those takedowns, even though I didn't think he did much with them, the fight started to tilt in his favor. And as the fight went on, it looked to be the same. Izzy playing the range game like he usually does, trying to exploit any type of weaknesses Dricus can make on the feet with his unpredictable and out of nowhere striking. But looking back, and I know this might be a hard pill to swallow, but Izzy looks old, man. This wasn't the same the last style bender Israel Adesanya, who was making Robert Whittaker look like child's play, or was making Paulo Costa look like he was taking his first mixed martial arts class. He looked much slower than in his past fights, and by the 3rd round, he was absolutely gassed. A lot of the mistakes that he was making on the feet is just something that prime Israel Adesanya wouldn't have made, and Dricus took advantage of that. Caught him a few times, took his back, and eventually choked him out. Absolutely phenomenal win for Dricus Du Plessis, and it's really coming full circle that this man might be a reigning middleweight champion. Obviously, until Hamzat gets the shot. But man, it's really just sad to see a fighter that you've watched growing up and someone that was once the man just start to take that eventual fall, i.e. Silva, Volk, even Conor, and once that starts, it's a very slippery slope from then on out. But yeah, it's basically set in stone that Dricus Du Plessis' next bout is against Sean Strickland, and to be blunt with you, I had Sean Strickland winning the first fight and everything, but now, I'm not sure it'll be close as the first time, but I'll save that for the breakdown video when the fight officially gets announced. But to basically sum everything up, UFC 305 was absolutely unforgettable, delivering key moments such as Carlos Prates' knockout over the Leech, or Dan Hooker's resilience, Kai Kara-France's comeback KO, or Dricus Du Plessis' upset win over Israel Adesanya. The event highlighted the unpredictable yet dramatic nature of mixed martial arts, marking turning points for both rising stars as well as seasoned veterans alike. But that's all I've got to say for this video. Let me know in the comment section below, what do you guys have to say about UFC 305? But that about wraps up the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.